everybody. Welcome to another edition of WTCtv. Did I get that right? I got that right. It's been so long. I feel like that I always seem to forget what the hell the call letters are. Like it's some kind of radio show here. Paul and I are sitting here deciding we're going to do a special edition here of the Three Count Show. We have a lot of record sales going on. What a month we have been having for the month of January 2025. Holy hell. We never used to see stuff like this on a regular basis all the time. And here we are now, pulling out 5-digit, sales at record pace, it seems like. So how you doing there, Paul?
I'm good, brother. Nice to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
this is kind of a special episode because we normally do these at the end of the quarter. And we did our year-end pricing for 2024, but then, whoa, did we get off with a bang for this month. And we don't have to count them down. I'll just throw out some of the numbers and then we'll sort of discuss them at random. But the reason why we're here is because the month of January 2025 had five-figure wrestling cards, which we've never ever seen before. And all the time that you and I have been sort of counting down by month, we've never had that many.
No.
Into that, it was
What's crazy about this? Let me interject here for a second. What's crazy about this, by the way, is that it took to be over $5,100 to even make this top 10.
correct. And there's probably
Which,
stuff I'm missing, to be honest. There's probably a bunch of flawless in there that that have gone that I haven't stayed up on. But as soon as I saw the three Cody Rhodes, let me just throw out there what's happened and why we're here and why all of a sudden this is important to us. We had two Hulk Hogan PSA 10s, the Tops 1985, that sold for 19 grand. One sold for 19.7, one sold for 19 to our good friend Woo Woo Double Woo, who's quickly
yeah,
becoming one of the top collectors in our hobby. And we're gonna have to get him on now.
yeah, good. Congratulations to him, man. That guy
Yeah,
is
dude,
making
with
a
the flare
play, and
robe,
it's
when we met at the National, he tapped me on the shoulder. We spoke briefly. I said, "Hey, I got some stuff for you," and then I never saw him again. Kind of like main event collectibles. These guys, I'd love to have a beer with,
no,
come and
I know, right,
and
right.
then disappear into the ether. It's like, dude, you're
They're
it.
like
We
like
we, we
like
need to we
Batman.
need
They're
to
just in
chat
and
about
out.
detail. Anyways, we had two Hogan sales of 1985 tops go for 19 grand, and then we had one, two, three flawless sales go for like 11,000, 10,500, and 10. And then the flawless train just kept on going. Like there was a Cody Rhodes Diamond, 11,000, a Cody Rhodes WrestleMania autograph, 10.5. We also had a National Treasures in there, a dual Hogan Cena autograph, and then more and more flawless. Tiffany Stratton, Bret Hart, Liv Morgan, Obafemi, Asuka. Now, the reason why we had these big sales is obviously that Flawless came out and it has become the most successful product price-wise, or the highest price-wise wrestling product we've ever seen.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
Prior to that, we'd be talking about Transcendent. You remember you buy the case for 15 grand or whatever it was.
yeah,
But when these boxes came out, the numbers on them were insane. And I was saying, who the fuck is going to pay these kinds of prices for these cards? Well, guess
yep,
what? Everybody.
yep.
Because as is evidenced by the top end, and that's what you and I like to talk about, I can vouch for the bottom end because I'm out there buying immaculate, buying impeccable, buying national treasures now, and I can tell you that you can buy lower end base cards, your Kofi Kingstons and Big E's and those kinds of guys for a buck or two. You can't do
Yep.
that in Flawless. You can't buy any card in Flawless for under $20. And more than likely, you're paying 30 to 35 bucks for a regular base card. Now, it has a little diamond or whatever in there, but Flawless just sort
Sure.
of redefined the game insofar as high end. And it's selling. So, that's why I wanted to sort of here at this moment throw it out to you because you're one of the guys that have been saying all along, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Get used to this. Hold
Yep.
my beer. We've got more of this coming.
It's funny because I had a customer come in the store yesterday. Mistakenly came in here thinking we were the old sports card shop,
Okay.
and we started talking. He started looking at the wrestling cards in the case, and all of a sudden he was just letting me know, well, I'm going to be opening up a card shop over up in Scottsdale. And I said, well, this is a pretty oversaturated market when it comes to the card stuff. And I said, well, I hope you're tech savvy. And from there, it exploded to about pricing and this, that, and the other. And this guy has this belief that, that people are just tired of paying high prices. People are not going to be spending that much money anymore. And I'm like, well, that may be true. I don't think we're going to be going down that road, buddy. I don't think they're not going to go back. We're not
It's,
going
it's a
back
common
to,
question. Are we in a bubble? We all remember the junk wax era.
sure,
Trust me, every time I pay 10 bucks a card, I think to myself, all right, am I paying 10 bucks for something that's 75 cents 2 years from now? Right? Because that's the sort of natural reaction of it. But, you know, price is a a factor of what your space is in the hobby. If you're a collector, that's different than
Mhm.
these guys that are coming along and pinging off these cards because they know that, hang on a second, there's something going on with these flawless cards. So I better get my hands on them before they disappear. Dealing with some of the bigger breakers, um, they can't keep them in stock. It's incredible how quick they're going. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm surprised. As the last effort for Panini before they bid adieu, uh, I didn't think that we'd get this kind of action. That you and I'd be sitting here and we'd be saying, you know what? Pff, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like if we were to count the ones in between 5 grand and 10 grand, we probably have another 15 cards. And it's all to do with the current fervor for this product, you know?
Yep.
Um,
I mean, the empty box alone selling for $100.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, these last three Panini sets in particular, the three count, the National Treasures and the Flawless, were all upper end sets, like the Immaculate and the Impeccable. Um, but there's juice there. People are buying them, and I'm halfway on National Treasures, so I'm probably going to go all the way with that one. I have no bones about ever getting close to doing anything on Flawless, and God knows where things go with three count. But
Yep.
it's just nice to see, and it's nice to sit here and say, yeah, we're talking all the time about high-end wrestling prices. Let me just say one other thing about our commentary on wrestling card prices, and then we'll move on. Um, you know, I recognize that this content is low-hanging fruit. Anybody can go out there and go on the 130 point or go on the card ladder or what have you and figure out what sold for the most and put it out there. It's been suggested perhaps some of the content that we do doesn't quite have enough depth, but I say, you know what? In 2010, when I was floating around the National by myself, going to every vendor and talking about wrestling cards, talking about prices, selling books, of which back then I sold over 400 of them, it sort of gave me, and then we did the website, and on a good day, we can get over 200 unique visitors. It gives me not the right, but I feel comfortable in talking about this stuff. And you know, I get that the market is changing considerably, and we've had this conversation before. Our little corner gets smaller and smaller, but it's our little corner that I'm most concerned about. That's who I'm speaking to. So when it's suggested that, we don't have the reach, we don't get enough views to justify commenting on this stuff, I say it doesn't matter. I'm talking to the guys that are here watching anyways. I get
Yeah.
that the hobby is
Well,
getting,
we've never started this in hopes of growing it to be something, huge and with
no,
big numbers. And, do we want more engagement? Absolutely. We'd love to have
sure,
that
we'd like
because
some of
it's
these,
something we like to talk about it. But, we put it out there to put it out there for the people who do pay attention and want to,
correct,
this
correct.
is,
And
this is
that's
how,
what we're
this is
speaking.
how some people consume their information.
Yes.
This is how
Yeah.
some people do, whether it be a minority. I don't care. I don't
No.
care. We just do it because we do it. We love it's for the love of the hobby.
This is an excuse for me to see you once a month, and we'd be having this conversation on the telephone anyways, right?
100%.
So all we're doing is we're just letting people in on our conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And if we make stuff that you're not interested in, or you don't feel that our content has the quote depth that it needs to,
Then move the fuck along. I don't care.
exactly. I was just going to quote my favorite show of all time is called Deadwood. And there's a scene where there's a big quote set to in a thoroughfare where two people kill each other in the road. And Cy Tulliver, one of the greatest characters ever written, comes and says to all the people that are gawking, if this doesn't approve to your delicate sensibilities, look the fuck away. And that's what you just said.
Yeah, actually means pretty much just move along, man. Yeah, I enjoy doing these when we can. It's like that. We've been doing them now for I don't even know how many years we've been doing this now, but
Longer
to
than
add
anybody
to add
else.
to your 2010, I mean, Jesus, 1997,
Yep.
1998, when I started, archiving information, stuff like that, I was doing it for me,
Yeah.
and it didn't know that there was an audience out there. There was a Paul, there was a Chuck. Didn't
Yep.
know these guys out there who were like, hey, like me, who've been collecting all this time. So it just became it grew from that. But it's amazing to me to see where this hobby has come to and it's like that. And do we have any kind of play in that? And that's like that. I like to think we kind of do in a sense from the
Well, maybe,
podcasting
maybe just to our
standpoint.
corner. Maybe just to our
Yeah,
corner. Like when it's said,
yeah,
that I don't have the reach that the rest of the hobby's ever going to pay any attention to me, and no one's going to take what I say seriously because we're small, we're not card
huh,
ladder, or we're not wherever the fuck we need to be. I say I'm doing this because I've been doing this for a long time. With you because you've been doing this for a long time. We get a lot of love and a lot of respect out there, so we're happy to continue to share this pricing information. And by all means, if there's something else that you want clarified or anything like that, that's what we're here for.
yeah,
But that's what I
absolutely. I
want
mean,
to
that's
talk to you about is these prices. Like you've said it
yeah,
many times before that, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, you need a flawless set like this to come out, but with tops, there's going to be a transcendent presumably, or there's going to be some sort of high end. And we know that the structure of how Topps products is coming out is going to be different, probably more in line with the way Panini looked. How soon
Yeah.
before we see this again?
From the tops era, I think we're going to see it in Chrome right now.
Not soon.
Yeah,
See,
with the fact that you have The Rock has signed and the different types of configurations they have of him as a
yes.
solo, as duels, as this, as that, the inscription stuff. There's going to be I can't believe there's not even, I don't even know. Maybe there is bounties out there already for these things. These are going to be big cards. We went last time talking about how the Rock Prism Black, sold for six figures and that it was going to be kind of unheard of to see that again unless we had a Hogan PSA 10 All Stars. I was one of the few out there, I believe, that just sat there and said, hold on. All it takes is someone with deep pockets.
Yeah.
And, it happened within 20 months.
Yeah.
It's going to happen even less time than that when it comes to this. I
And
think this Chrome is going to produce, someone's going to pay big money for that one of one Rock.
yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, these predetermined unicorns that are going to fetch the big money, but I still put stock in the Hogan stuff as well. These two $19,000 sales were 1985 tops, not Wrestling
Well,
All
of
Stars.
course, yeah.
The Wrestling
No,
All Stars,
I'm not displaying the fact that that Hogan's the king of the card markets like that. He's the Mickey Mantle and the Michael Jordan of the sport of wrestling. I do take I don't take offense to it, but I do take to the fact that people say like, well, it's his rightful place, like you always say. That I don't agree with that. It's his
well,
rightful place.
I base that on
So,
the organic following that it achieved over a 15-year period. No one
of
decided
course.
one morning that I'm going to make a card, and before it's even printed, it's going to set a new record. That just happens to be the card that over time has grown. And that
Oh,
132,
that's fine, and that's
and
fine.
we're gonna see that again. Like
Of
when
course.
the next rock or whoever Tops decides to make, and there's a bounty put on it, and it's sold for $250,000 before it's even made. You're gonna see that same rise in the Wrestling All Stars. To suggest that the
Of
Hogan
course.
fluke, and it's
No, I've never said Hogan's a fluke.
well, you haven't, but some people,
No, I know that, but
you know,
it's inevitable that whatever modern card sets record that this vintage card is going to eclipse it
correct.
because it's going to raise that price. Oh,
And
absolutely.
And
So,
that's to my point that we're here this month because of both. We're here because
mhm,
of the two $19,000 Hulk Hogan's, plus the myriad of flawless that happen to come out this month. Now, you need that perfect storm. You need to have a product come out that's at the very high end that people are going to pay through the nose for. And then you also need to have a couple of really high-end Gem Mint 10s on the heels of the big Hogan activity in December.
sure,
But that's gonna continue to go through 2025. Both of them. We just
of
talked
course,
about
yeah,
the gentleman that paid the $19,000. He'll pay big money for anything that makes sense. And that's to your point. All it needs is a guy with a big pocket that understands the value of this, understands the long term. Drake said it best on a pricing episode. He said, you know what? I paid 11 grand for a Vince Super, then I sold it for 30, and buddy, 2 years from now I was going to sell it for 50, if he's just patient enough. And
yeah,
that's true. That's very true. And that's what's been happening in the hobby at large. You know what I mean? When
yeah,
you look at the Brady's and you look at the big cards, the ones that are good, the top cards, I think they're going to maintain their position. We might see overall the market take a bit of a
yeah.
dip,
No,
based
it's
on
just I find it to be healthy for this hobby. It's something that we repeatedly kept talking about that we wanted to be acknowledged and recognized as part of the overall hobby of sports cards. And while wrestling is still grossly undervalued
sure.
comparatively speaking, it's making a lot of big splashes right now
People
because
are talking about it
it's,
for sure.
it's people talking about it, and it's just the more people keep talking about it, the more bigger names with deep pockets come in and say, you know what, I'm going to make a play at some of this stuff, whether it be modern or vintage. Great. You know what? I love the whole modern versus vintage thing because all it does is kind of just
Yeah.
keep raising everything up.
Yeah.
Modern, vintage, modern, it just keeps going. And I love it. I love it
But,
because it just adds more eyeballs to the hobby.
but you can't overlook one side over the other.
No,
Absolutely.
no, to me, it's
You have
equal.
to respect that these are two very vital, viable segments of the hobby.
100%. To me, they're equal. One helps the other.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely does.
I agree.
One helps the other. And so, we're gonna see. my prediction here, and get my thinking cap on. I think my prediction here is gonna be, what was his name? Shit, he just passed away this year too. I met him a couple of years ago, so like that. More appearances on Johnny Carson than anybody else in history. The great.
Oh, Larry David's friend?
No, mind readers like that. Can't remember
Not
his name.
Gretzky.
Damn it. Anyhow,
Gretzky, Randy. I don't know.
yes, the great Gretzky. Yeah. So
Was that him?
anyhow,
He's Canadian, that guy, you know?
oh, is he? He passed away
Anyways,
last year, I think.
okay.
Anyhow, he I predict. I This isn't me. This is just me saying it's like that. You think that we there's two six-figure cards and that's going to be kind of it for a while? I'm going to say two, maybe three more coming.
Yeah. Have they the question is, have they been conceived yet? Because yesterday we saw a dual Stone Cold Steve Austin Rock. First time we've seen it.
Yeah, that's
Just
I think
just an
that's gonna be
image.
one of them.
You know, just an image. Same thing happened.
That
The Super came out with that shitty inscription.
if
Right away,
uh
this
if
is going
if
to be it.
if there's a one of one of any of those are all going to be it, man. The first time ever to have a Rock, Stone Cold, the two arguably biggest names of the
Mhm.
late 90s, early
The Rock
2000s.
and Roman too is going to be just as big.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely. That one of one through the tops now.
Yep.
I mean, we all bought into it just for it's a lottery ticket.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm waiting for my winning ticket to arrive any day now.
yeah, me too. I'm waiting for mine to arrive too. So, mine's actually already shipped.
Yeah,
But
too. I got my notice. I had that one sent directly to me, not to Chuck. Not that I don't trust Chuck.
oh yeah. Yeah, well, when you're dealing with a big money card like that, you might as well
Yeah,
have it shipped to yourself. But yeah, I there's two, maybe even three six-figure cards coming out here soon. And I said in less than
I
16
can't
months.
disagree. It's going to be exciting though, and we're going to be here talking about it, you know, whether you like it or
Absolutely. So
not.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's move on. You know, it's going to be a shorter episode because again,
Yeah.
this was just an impromptu three count just to talk about these particular sales in context of the two vintage Hogans and the flawless.
Yeah.
Let's just because Tome Topps Chrome has been released. Let's have a
Yep.
quick word on that before we talk about Chrome 2025 because there's been a lot of ink written on
Yep.
25, like dare I say daily. There's something that someone's talking about, and for me, you know, like I don't mean this to sound the wrong way, but for me, Topps Chrome is just another set. The way Prism was, the way Select is, the
Well,
way
of course it is,
Flawless
but
is,
it's a big deal because of
because of the
Tops.
return.
Tops of its return, The Rock and Tops itself, to its credit, has really jumped on the
Yeah,
social media bandwagon here, and has done a really fantastic job promoting their product across all boards, not just for the Chrome, the Chrome itself, but also bringing back some things that people like the Tops Now, the
yep.
Top Slam app. And they're really pushing it on a daily basis. Teaser pictures, new product drops on the Slam app,
Yeah, they get it.
stuff going on with Royal Rumble, just there's so much they're doing right. Now, go back to the Chrome product itself. I'm with you on that. To me, it's just another Topps Chrome product. Um, Design wise, I'm on a hit and miss with some of the stuff on it,
I
but we
agree.
can go into depth Chrome stuff in a future episode where we can talk about it in depth once we get some stuff in our hands, maybe, and can kind of really let it play out for a bit. But just from the images I've seen so far, some of it's just not really jiving with me,
Some of it's great, some of
and
it's
some of it's
not, but
great, and some of
that's
it's
normal.
great. That's great.
Like
Yeah.
National Treasures, for example. Um, I thought that that was a subpar set in general. You know, relative to Impeccable and Immaculate, I thought really National Treasures with sticker autographs. Some of these pictures are horrible, but then luckily the base cards are quite nice. They're very attractive. So when I was able to sort of buy a chunk of them, I'm like, yeah, I can go down this road because I like the cards. But the point I was getting about Topps Chrome 2025, the world is talking about 2025. Nobody is talking about Upper Deck AEW Allure. Um, there it is, the new set. Okay, one person's talking about it. You know,
Oh, only because it came in the mail last night.
yeah, the black diamonds
They
came and
sent me
went,
this.
and it was yeah. Oh well, there's a black diamond too. Are you selling the boxes or are you opening them?
I'm gonna open the black diamond box. I'm gonna pack out the allure.
So so why is it that is it just because you know Tops is getting so much press at the moment that everyone's kind of forgetting about the AEWs? I'm not hearing a
No,
lot of buzz about them.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just because it's Upper Deck and it's just the AEW product itself. I think across the board for AEW, outside of its you know, I'm sorry to say, limited loyalists.
Right.
I don't think it's not that hot commodity that everybody used to talk about back in 2021. It
Well, the
just isn't.
product itself, like I was talking to Steve yesterday about how great Forbidden Door was 2 years ago, but now, the AEW product is barely watchable. It's not
I
near
know.
as it was. Meanwhile, WWE is on a high like I haven't seen in a long time. The product is immensely watchable, and there's so much. I mean, we've got a Royal Rumble coming up where it's going to be Cena, it's going to be Punk, it's going to be McIntyre, it's going to be Seth, it's going to be,
Yeah, it could be anybody's game, man. I
you know
mean,
what I mean? Like it's
customers come in the store wanting to know what my pick is. I go, I can't pick, man. It's like the roster is so stacked right now. It's
uh-huh,
unbelievable.
uh-huh.
Anybody could come in.
And if
I
Mr.
mean,
Johnson decides to make an appearance, it could be him. So who knows?
it could be him. I
You
mean,
know.
the AEW product, is just not on par. It's to me, it's a. I hate to say this, man. I really hate to say this because it was such a huge hot commodity for a while. It's a glorified indie promotion with some money to back up for production. That's it.
That's what it
That's
seems
really
like now. Do we, when they were
yes.
talking about making a serious push to compete with
Compete.
WWE,
Yeah.
and for a
I mean,
while
I
there, when they were snagging guys, it looked like it might be a possibility. It was the whole WCW Monday Night Wars thing all over again.
yeah, but
But clearly
it grabbed too much too quick,
that
and
ship has sailed.
it's already turned into like WCW 2000.
Yeah, yeah, I
It
got
really
you.
has, and I
I
feel
got
bad
you.
because Dynamite and Collision are coming here on the 19th of February,
Right.
and tickets just went on sale finally. I have Jerry Lynn coming in store on the 18th, and we're giving away a pair of tickets for Dynamite. It's not helping push anything at all.
Really, huh? It's not bringing more
Mm-mm.
people. Huh.
I'm not getting any buzz at all. Granted, I got Joe Henry coming in 2 days before that. That's a different thing.
That's
And
got to be something.
I'm half sold out on my tickets now already in 3 days.
Yeah, of course.
But the allure of coming in, and here's the pitch that I have. Just show up on Tuesday night for the Jerry Lynn. Just show up. You have to buy nothing. Get a ticket in the raffle to
Yeah,
win a
you
pair of
might end up
tickets.
going to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Zero interest.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I wanted to sort of cover today. Like I know this is not a regular episode, but just because we're here at the last day of the month in January, I'm looking at these numbers going, wow, And if it comes to pass that we never see these again, then at least we've put a commentary on this. But I agree with you. I think the
No, I think we're going to see
tip of the
more.
iceberg.
We're going to see more frequency in this. I think that over time and throughout the 2025 calendar, we're going to see a lot more of like, wow, man, that's like this another five-figure card, another
Yeah.
five-figure card. I think five-figure cards are going to become part of the norm.
Yeah.
Um, where we might become like, oh, just another five-figure card.
Like I say,
Now we're
I
going to talk.
stopped counting the stuff in between 5 grand and 10 because there's probably a bunch that I've missed or like I'm like as soon as I saw those two Hogans and then 3 from Flawless, it's like wow, this is nuts. you know
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
so that
flawless,
was it.
flawless mint. Yeah.
So that's
Well,
all
it's good.
that's all I had. So anything else before we sign off?
No, but I welcome people who listen or watch this like that to comment. We kind of gave you our little top five. Maybe we'll put in the show notes. I'll copy and paste and put in the show notes what we had for our top 10, so
Yes.
people can see it.
Yeah.
And comment on what you saw that probably sold for over 5 grand. Like to hear what's kind of going out in the market because we can only see so much. I mean, Paul looks at it a lot more than I do, like that. But we can only
Daily.
see so
Again, you
much.
don't catch everything and you don't know what's legitimately sold. And, again, I try to offer accurate, complete information, but we do the best we can. We're
Yeah. So
here, and again, I
and
recognize that maybe the tops of the world, they don't listen to us, so they don't pay any attention. And unless Card Ladder says it's something, what we say doesn't matter. But you know what?
Well,
I don't care.
I
I'm
just
gonna
want
say it.
to, I want to rather hear from the people itself, the collectors themselves out there, who are listening or watching, what do you think is going to, where do you think we're going? Do you think we're going to continue to see these kind of, monster sales? Are we going to be dying out here soon? Are we in a bubble that was going to pop here soon? Because it doesn't seem to be any let up right now. I mean,
No,
people are
no,
really
we're
deep
definitely in
diving
the eye of the
still.
hurricane now. So
Yeah.
let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah.
So,
well, nice
got
seeing you,
nothing,
brother.
man.
Yeah,
Good
we'll
seeing
catch
you.
up with you soon. Be good.
You got it. Out.